What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another push for 3K video, this time with our Brewmaster Monk Monkadies. We are doing a plus 10 Nexus point Xenas this time, so let's go ahead and jump right in. I know there's some thought about taking this first room in one pool, just taking everything at one time. I do not like doing that, at least at these key levels. It's probably something you do at a higher key level. But right here, I kind of just take these first two packs, and it's kind of just kiting them in a semicircle, circular, like area, just so we can avoid the frontal and stay out of the claw marks that are on the ground. Really try to just keep everything locked down and kicked as much as possible. And this fight or this pool isn't that difficult. It's really about just making sure that you're out of the area denial things. As you can see, we go left here at the start of the dungeon. I believe going left is probably the best or the appropriate way to go. You can kind of limit what you're pulling on the left side because you're going to pull everything on the right side essentially. And you kind of just do this first little area. Take as many mobs as you can. You feel comfortable with. You can see here that we didn't have a kick on this normal guy on the left. That was just free casting, so I kind of put him in paralysis. And it's really just about taking these mobs down as fast as possible and really focusing on that caster that's in there. That's going to be dropping that keg or that, whatever this, Nexus explosion thing is. We have to really make sure we kill that as fast as possible because it does an insane amount of damage to everybody. So it's really just when that comes out, the mana battery, AoE it down as fast as possible, and then just move back to your focus target. There's a lot of movement on this side. It's really just a lot of getting out of area denial spaces, and then whenever you see people, they'll get a pink ring around them. You kind of want to stay out of that area, and that person needs to not move because I believe they just do a lot of damage to themselves. So it's one of those things that's hard for the healers to try to deal with, especially if you have a bunch of other AoE damage going out to the group. So you see here we just continually kite up. We're getting everything down to about 80% and then pulling the next group and then letting the AoE or letting the DPS kill as they're moving forward to the next group. I came in and pulled this pack, leg sweep them because the healer is away from me. Gives me a chance to do some damage, not take any damage while I'm doing that damage, while the healer catches up. So again, here this pool was a little bit hectic. I did not have my taunt. I just used it, so it's a little bit difficult to try to gather this pack up. Really was trying to just keep them combined, and then we had to move over to this mana battery because I was not paying attention to it, and it's going to explode and we're going to die. So I really need to focus on that a little bit more. But it's really just focusing the casters, focusing the the mini bosses are like the lieutenant mobs, and then focusing those mana batteries. You really need to hard swap the mana batteries because if they detonate and go off, there's a really big chance you're going to kill the group. This is also why I think going on this left side is probably the right move at the start. You can kind of limit what you're pulling and not have to pull a ton of different mobs and a ton of different groups. And you kind of just cut your way up until we get to around the first boss. I also think going to the left side is probably the right move because you can lust this first boss and you'll have it back for the third boss, like the last boss in the dungeon. Lothraxian. I could see if you wanted to pull the right side first and saving your lust for that. You could do it for the damage phase whenever the light mob is channeling into the boss, but I do think that this is the right move. I think in hierarchies, that first pool that we did where we only did the left side of the room, if you're going to do that entire introductory area lusting that is probably the move, or probably the play. But I think that's only going to be for like keys that are like 18 up, things like that. I mean, in a 10, you can kind of just do the left side, right side, and just go. Here, this, I feel like this boss isn't too difficult. It's really just a bunch of movement, getting out of the beams and staying out of the aerial denial. I kind of consider this just a tank and spank kind of a boss. As long as the DPS, I mean, I guess, yeah, as long as the DPS are doing their part and we are getting rid of those lines, it's not too bad. It's really just moving the boss into an area where DPS can easily get to and you know, do the rotation, things like that. You can see me, I kind of just move slightly each time if the lines are going to come through the boss. The only really major point is getting out of this big area and making sure that you don't do what I just did there. Like, I literally got hit and then rolled into an area like a you know, purple shit that's on the ground. You don't want to do that. Moving this way is probably not the right play here, because we kind of get stuck in this triangle because we're not going to have a spot to move if we needed to.
I'm gonna move that way, just so we're out of the way.
So you see me there, I kind of move and I trap our Paladin Dilvish in the corner, which, you know, terrible. I did ping where I was going, but I didn't let him know early enough so he could move out of the way. So it's just poor play by me and poor communication by me as well.
I was just trying to make it where everyone could get him, and then Dilf's just like stuck in the corner. I feel so bad now.
No, it's alright.
But, you know, finish it up. It's not the worst. We kind of could just go to the next mobs.
I mean, 2 deaths in that hallway is not that bad, honestly.
Sorry, what?
I said 2 deaths in that hallway is not that bad.
No, I actually think that is very good.
So you see, I think we're at like 31% after that left side. Here is where you're going to have to do a lot of your count. We should try to be
I'm gonna die.
at around 80%. Like, that pool was terrible. I don't think the healer was ready. I don't think that the healer was actually in with us. So I kind of just messed that up terribly. We just let him reset, come back in, and then we go again. It's really one of those things. Like, I have a bad habit of on this dungeon specifically of not paying attention to see where my healer is, because like you have to take the portal, or you have to take like the thing to get flown back to the start. I don't pay attention if my healer is with me or not, or my DPS is with me. So I kind of just go in and start pulling, not thinking that Lothraxian's little mob and these, you know, regular general mobs hit so hard. So it's really a terrible look by me. But again, we just, you know, same thing as usual. We kind of just get out of the area denial, get out of the marks, stay out of that frontal because it will disorient you, and we just tank everything down. Here is when we start to really start picking up the mobs, like making our pools a little bit bigger, hoping that our DPS have some cooldowns that they can use. A big thing about this side is you will get these little void puddles that you need to make sure you do not allow to get to these little ghost people. I don't know what they're called exactly, but you'll see one on the right side up here, one on the back of the screen. You will see me Ring of Peace them a lot, just so that they don't interact with the mobs here. You see me just Ring of Peace that one right there. You gotta make sure that those guys do not get to get, like, the little mobs do not get to the little puddle mobs do not get to those other guys, because if they do, they summon a really terrible mob that you don't want to deal with. So again, here we're kind of just pulling everything in front of us. Really, we want to pull almost everything on this side so we can avoid pulling as much on the left side as possible. I do think the left side of this dungeon is the worst side. The void side is a little bit easier to deal with as opposed to the ethereal side. Yeah, so it looks like the things are called like nascent something. You want to make sure that the little puddle mobs do not get to those, because if they fill up their health bar, they will, I guess, be summoned, and then you have to deal with that extra mob. And I'm not positive it even gives you count, so you are killing extra mobs to wasting extra time for mobs that aren't going to give you count towards the end of the dungeon. So it's really just a lose-lose situation at that point. But again, here it's same thing as usual. We pull the mobs, focus down the caster, focus down the priority little boss mob, the mini boss mob, the lieutenant mob, whatever you want to call them. So it'd be on my bars, it's the guys with the purple name and the pink name. Those are the ones you have to really focus on. The purple ones are the guys that I'm calling lieutenant mobs, and then the pink ones are the caster mobs. So you focus those down, and then you kind of just AoE, let your cleave focus on the regular general mobs, the non-threatening ones. So here you're going to see me, I think I pulled this pack, and once it's really like down and focused, we go and pull the next set.
I'll kill it.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of wait for our shaman Grim to get up to us, because he was taking care of some of the little puddle mobs.
Its health bar anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a waste of time in the end.
So again, here I'm not doing a really good job focusing the lieutenant mob. I'm kind of clicking between the different mobs, make sure that everyone is kind of in the same health, around the same health realm, or around the same health. So they're kind of dying at the same time. Maybe Brewmaster does do quite a bit of cleave damage, or not cleave, but quite a bit of AoE damage. Like 3 target cleave, I guess is what it would be. So we can focus on more, but I'm not doing a good job here. So same thing, focus on the lieutenant mob, cleave everything down. We need to make sure we get that. Like I try to ring a piece in I don't actually click the button right. I'm LOS myself. So I do get the ring a piece down. It keeps us from summoning the nascent mob, and then we just keep focusing things down. So these smudges, we got to grab the smudges, make sure they don't summon this guy, kill them. Back to hard focusing this lieutenant mob. Go and pull this second group onto the next set of lieutenant mobs, bring them back, and we kind of just focus everything down here. I want to try to avoid that. Every time that comes up, I kind of think that I need to try to keep threat and aggro on it, but it's one of those things where it's following somebody else, and I kind of just run into it and take unnecessary damage. So I need to get better at that. And then here, this is the last pull before, like the last major pull before the boss, because the boss has some RP that you have to deal with. But this is a set of the same mobs from the start of the dungeon. We really just avoid the frontal, stay out of the claws. You want to make sure you kind of have a defensive up for the claws. I kind of use just Celestial Infusion. That's usually what I have running for when the claws are coming out. That's way it's just a little bubble, like a damage absorb bubble. It allows me to avoid spiking damage and having a ton of stagger that I'm trying to, clear and purify. Here you want to make sure that you grab threat on these little Voidwalker looking guys and then bring them over to Lieutenant Mob. Sometimes the Voidwalkers will hard focus you're ranged, so you have to make sure you taunt them or something to get their attention. Will sometimes throw my Blackhawk statue to them or where they're gonna spawn, and taunt that just because the Blackhawk statue constantly taunts, and I'll taunt the statue so it brings them to me. It's like the one way I know how to. I guess not the one way I know how to, but the one way that brewmasters have to effectively AoE taunt stuff. Again, you see here, that guy will teleport to you. I kind of gather everything up and then take them to the lieutenant mob, and we just focus everything down. This is a point in time where you really need to focus down this lieutenant mob, and just let your cleave deal with everything else. So you can try to get to the boss as fast as possible. So you see me here kind of cycling through stuff, making sure that our damage is pretty even on things, and see me touch of death that just so it can be killed and we can summon this boss down. I always forget that there's this gigantic void bubble that I have to deal, or void puddle I have to get out of when they come in, when they summon down. But this boss is, I'm not gonna say the harder boss of the two initial ones. I think this one has the most mechanics you have to deal with and really think about. There are things that will kill you quickly if you don't pay attention to them. Mainly not having threat on these void walkers, because there are what I would consider like lieutenant mobs as well, and making sure that you kick them, because if you don't, you will die. You see me try to kick them as much as possible so the DPS can really focus on just damaging the boss. This Lothraxian, when he jumps down, getting out of that burst of light because it blinds you, and then stepping into this channeled light gives you a buff, a damage buff. So make sure you stay in that. If you have, short duration cooldowns, make sure you use them there. You can lust that phase if you have your lust up. But it's really one of those things, like making sure that your DPS are really just cranking out some damage on that phase right there. You want to try to get this boss down within 2 of those light casts. If you go into a third one, you start to run out of defensives, you start to run out of healers, your healers start to run out of cooldowns. It starts to get a little bit spicy. So trying to get it done, trying to get this boss down within the first 2 is the way to go. You can see me not get in the light funnel here. I should have immediately. I was trying to just make sure I had a cooldown up, at least a defensive, because you do take a ton of damage in here. So it's one of those things. Make sure you have some defensives up just in case you need them, because your healer's out of cooldowns or something like that. We get him down. Then we go up here, take the next teleport, or the teleport portal, whatever, the flight back to the original starting area.
I was trying to. You fucking flew away. You just fucking flew away.
So I do see this a lot. Make sure that you channel this first area. You have to channel this console, because there have been plenty of times where I've run with, non-guild groups, and they have just like run away, and I'm trying to deal with channeling this by myself, and it takes forever. Luckily, this is a guild group minus the healer, so we kind of just keep everything running smoothly. Now these mobs, these pulls aren't the worst. It is important to note that these little light bugs or whatever they're called, they do not have an aggro table. So they will just hard focus whoever they focus or initially focus. You see the light beams coming to them. You cannot taunt them away. They will just continue to follow those individuals. So the best practice for that is to just run. If you have them, run them through the group and let the group AoE them down as much as possible. You can see me trying to help our demon hunter there, Skeptic, as he's trying to avoid them. I try to put my ring of peace down so it kind of stops the bugs from flying, but it doesn't really work. And then you have to deal with the bats. The bats they are the ones that do the little light explosion, so getting out of that is important as well. And really, those I think the two main trigger points or like difficult points are the light bugs and the bats. These little light rot things, they just do a cast, get out of that, or like kick it as much as possible, and then you go up. You have another Lithraxian thing you have to deal with. It's the same thing as before. It's gonna have the claws, and it's gonna have a frontal you get out of, and then you just deal with that, kill it, knock it down. Make sure you kick that light rot, get out of this frontal, deal with the bat, because once it dies it will explode in a circle around you, so get that out. And then you can kind of, once the bat is down and you get at least one of the light rots down, you can move over and grab this next pack because you will need it for count.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's doing well.
You don't have to wait to kill this lingering image before you pull the next pack. You can pull them both at the same time. Like I said, the major difficulty is this light rot free casting. The bat is going to explode on death, and then those bugs. Making sure that you kite the groups onto the bugs that are flying around, and you really need to hard focus those bugs. At least the DPS does, so we can kill them as quickly as possible.
So that sucks for him, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see me here. I know that we're going to be below count, so we kind of pick these other three mobs up. This pool is a little spicy, just because you have the three groups of bugs, and if the DPS aren't running to the group, it's kind of hard to AoE them down. And then you have these, these light rots that are just going to continually hard cast over and over, and you can't do anything about it. So you just, paralysis them, focus them down, or like hard focus them. If you have a caster, just continually cast and spell steal if they're a mage or something like that. Keep them locked down as much as possible, and then make sure you have defense spell because if they don't want to run to you.
They're getting nerfed, you said?
There was a hot fix today.
And then you get to this right here.
Is doing more damage than it's supposed to be.
Now,
Wicked
Lothraxian is going to have the same,
essentially
essentially the same mechanics as his light images do, his light replica images. He does have the claws, the little frontal. He does do this little thing where he shoots, he targets 4 individuals, and they put the little light circles that put the mirror images down, and then those will jump. So just avoid the mirror images, avoid the lines where they're going to jump to, and stay out of the claws, because this is really just a big area denial phase. Ideally, you have as much uptime as possible. You kind of kite the boss to areas where there's enough space for all your damage and all of your, or like for you and your DPS to move and stand without getting hit by the light images. And then you got to find the actual proper image. The one that you need to get is the one that doesn't have horns. So you'll see here, all these other light images do have horns. The one that does not have horns is the actual Lothraxian that you need to kick. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can kind of cheese this mechanic. I believe Hunter's Mark will continually mark the right Lothraxian. If you have Warlock's minions, I think, will target the correct Lothraxian. The Void Sphere that priests do like hold or a discipline priest do if they are the void hero talent. Little image like the void sphere that follows things that will target the correct Lithraxian. So there are a couple ways to cheese this mechanic, but the way to really just do it is you need to make sure you focus the or find the one that does not have horns.
because Tyrant gives you 3 shards when you Tyrant.
So again, same thing. Run out,
So it's a little bit easier.
avoid the explosion as much as you can. Find the Lithraxian that does not have horns. Luckily, he's the one that's right beside us, and then we can kind of just focus him down.
Getting less collapsing stars off. It's not lining up because every time I go into it, he starts.
I think
sneaking us in.
on like a 10 or 12, you're probably going to do this it's going to be 2 separate cycles. When you get to like a 15 or 16 up to 18, you'll probably have to do it around 3 times. So it's really just making sure that you have your cooldowns up. I think this is a boss that you might want to lust if you have it available,
Warcraft logs.
just so you can try to burn him down as quickly as possible and can avoid that third group of explosions trying to find him. But that was it. That's a plus 10 Nexus point. You can see we did time it.
Give me some good.
You know,
I already got that. That's like
I think without that wipe, we probably would have 2-chested it. But that wipe is definitely on me, and could do better. But that is it. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments on how I could do better, or things you'd like to see, put them down below. We should be running other push for 3K videos coming up soon for healers and DPS and a couple other tanks. So those will be coming out quickly and hopefully soon. So please like and subscribe and stay tuned for those videos as well. I appreciate you guys staying out, and I will talk to you guys later. Adios.